Arnold Schwarzenegger recently surprised everyone by strongly challenging Jimmy Kimmel on his own talk show. The crowd wasn't cheering for Kimmel, they were cheering for Arnold. That's unusual, especially since the audience usually supports more progressive views. So what happened? It all started when Arnold went on The View and refused to criticize Donald Trump like the hosts wanted. He gave a powerful response that caught everyone off guard. Then, Kimmel tried to push Arnold to say something against Trump too. But Arnold didn't fall for it. Instead, he responded with calm but powerful words, and even Kimmel's audience applauded him.
It seems like our president doesn't want to have this problem solved. He wants to create.
This is a common trick in media these days. They try to get Republicans to speak out against Trump so they can create viral clips. But Arnold didn't fall into that trap. He stayed strong, answered honestly, and completely flipped the situation. He handled it with no fear and showed his true leadership.
I have to tell you, people always say to me, oh my God, what's going on in America right now and all this stuff. And I said to them, relax. I've come over here in 1968, where it was a disaster. I mean, even the most fantastic country, but I came over here in 1968, Martin Luther King was Bobby Kennedy was. There were the riots left and right because of the Vietnam, the protests. Then there was the attack on the Democratic Convention in Chicago. And then after that, there was Watergate. And the thing went on and on and on, where people said, what is going on in America? And we got out of that mess. So America will always get out of this mess. And we will get out of this, believe me. This will be solved, this issue. Los Angeles will always be a great city to come to. I'm very, very proud of Los Angeles.
Arnold isn't perfect, and he's said some questionable things in the past. But this time, he was sharp, confident, and completely in control. When Kimmel asked him a tricky question, Arnold answered calmly and confidently, saying Trump has what it takes to fix the problems in Los Angeles. Surprisingly, even Kimmel's left-leaning audience agreed. Arnold then went after California Governor Gavin Newsom, blaming him for poor leadership during tough times in the state.
If the politicians would do their work, think about it.
Many people in California seem to agree with Arnold. Recent polls show Gavin Newsom's approval rating dropped to 54%, down 7 points. People are frustrated with how he's handling things after the ICE protests and ongoing economic problems. Small businesses are closing, taxes are going up, and public safety is getting worse. Arnold's direct and honest message is resonating with people who are tired of empty promises. He even criticized the media next.
I think that what you're referring to is, of course, the protests that are going on
everything
in LA.
that's going on.
I totally agree with you, by the way, Jimmy, because they make it out to like it is a zone, the whole Los Angeles, the whole city or the county. And the fact of the matter is, it's maybe like 0.001% of the area of Los Angeles has problems. There's a protest.
Yeah.
And so I think that this is important for people to know, because I don't want all of a sudden tourism to suffer in Los Angeles because what they see on television, because the media sometimes shows it as if the whole Los Angeles is a big town, which isn't really.
Arnold accused the media of twisting stories and trying to make Trump look bad no matter what. He said that by exaggerating the problems in LA, the media is actually hurting the city. Their dramatic headlines scare off tourists and investors, which damages the local economy. Arnold told them to stop playing games and start focusing on real problems.
I just get very frustrated because we send those politicians to Washington to solve the problems. In all their eyes, instead of public servants, they're party servants. And I think this is really the bad thing about it. So it's just that I mean, there should be public servants.
I'm sure there's a huge amount of truth.
The audience responded well to Arnold's honest approach. He wasn't playing political games, he was speaking from the heart. He said what many people have been thinking, that politicians only care about getting re-elected, not helping the people. He criticized Newsom for using chaos like the ICE protests for political gain instead of stepping up and leading. Regular people, not politicians, are the ones suffering the most, and Arnold wasn't afraid to say it.
Probably Donald Trump doesn't want you to be trusted, because I don't think Donald Trump likes you very much, to be honest. True? Yeah. So, but I think the nature of the media is to show where, you know, there's some guys robbing looting a medical marijuana store, and then there's you know, a few Waymos on fire, and to put that together in a montage and make it seem like all hell is breaking loose.
Kimmel, getting frustrated, tried one last trick. He said Trump doesn't even like Arnold, hoping to cause drama. But Arnold didn't take the bait. Instead, he stayed calm and reminded everyone that petty drama is part of the problem in today's politics. He turned the moment into a lesson about maturity and real leadership. The audience cheered, and Kimmel looked surprised.
Is that the case here in Los Angeles right now?
No, well, first of all, let's just be honest. The whole thing is to do with the deportation.
Yes, of course.
Of course, this is a very sensitive subject to me, because when I came over to this country, I was living in fear of being deported.
Were you?
Yeah, because at one point I did a movie that was so bad that I thought that the critics would deport me and send me back to Austria. Hasta la vista, baby.
You were worried that you were going to be deported for creative.
Just like the hosts on The View, Kimmel tried to use Arnold's immigrant background to pressure him emotionally. But Arnold didn't fall for that either. He calmly refused to be manipulated. He showed that he understands the political games being played and knows how to deal with them. Arnold proved he's not just an actor, he's a smart and steady leader.
I think that people who have been in this country for 25 years and who have had no criminal activity whatsoever should be granted the rights of U.S. citizenship?
What this is, what I'm talking about, is immigration reform. A comprehensive immigration reform will address all of those issues. Yes, and also we would then be able to hand out more visas, temporary working permits, permanent working permits, the green card, and all citizenship, and all of those things. And we would know who comes into the United States rather than not knowing and having so many people here that we don't even know who they are and what kind of criminal activities they are participating in and all this. So it's a shame, the whole thing, because we have a country that needs workers, and when you look at south of the border, they want to work.
There was one moment where the audience went completely silent. Arnold had just said that every person in a country should be documented, not as an attack on immigrants, but as a matter of national security and common sense. That silence showed how powerful his words were. Arnold wasn't being harsh, he was being honest. He handled every media trap with calm confidence. He exposed the tricks, ignored the emotional pressure, and said the things most media outlets avoid. He reminded everyone that real leadership is about telling hard truths, not chasing applause. And that's why his message hit so hard.